Welcome, everyone. You all please rise, put your hand over your heart, and join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Welcome. Today is Thursday, February the 5th. This is the South Russell Village Council meeting. Fiscal officer will take the roll.
Berger.
Here.
Canton.
Here.
Kavanaugh is absent. Rensel.
Here.
Bell.
Here. We have minutes from our January the 20th regular council meeting. Any changes or corrections in the minutes?
Question of point of order on that. I wasn't here and I normally abstain. Can we still pass them with only 3 council members?
We cannot.
So is it okay if I still vote to approve them, even though I wasn't here?
Of course,
Okay.
always.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Did someone
Motion.
make a motion to approve?
Oh, no, we didn't. Someone make a motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Canton, seconded by Berger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. The motion passes. Solicitor, while we're on this, if you don't attend the meeting, but when you read the minutes, you can approve them, right? There's no issue there.
Correct.
All right. We are at a forfeiture hearing on 88 Pawpaw Lake Drive. And this is how we will operate today. We will hear from the homeowner first, then we're going to hear from the contractor. If need be, we have our building inspector and our building department administrator. They are here. We will only ask questions if needed, and it has to go through the chair here. The council members, the 4 of them serve as judges on this decision. We'll have no comments from the public, and there'll be no executive session. The idea is we're going to look into making a decision as to who gets a deposit that was made to South Russell Building Department. The amount of money right now, I don't have it. It's a little over $1,000. Okay, going first is Ben. Ben, please stand, give us your name and address, and the floor is yours for as long as you need, because this is a special hearing, so take your time.
Okay, thanks. Benjamin Stewart, 88 Paul Lake Drive, right down the road. So we hired Mr. Satchel for a total of $75,000. I don't have all the numbers. Is the data that I provided?
Yes, we all have received copies of all the paper.
Okay. So we paid Mr. Satchel a lot of money and he walked off the job after 3 months. And there was, 80% of it was for the whole basement and a master bathroom transition. And we had got to the point of framing 80-90% of the job. And he had bought $1,300 worth of drywall and it was sitting in our basement. Electrical was mostly done. Plumbing was 80% done, 8% done for the electrical. And we were in disagreement. We were very displeased at the very slow rate of completion of the project. He initially said it would be done in 2 months. It was 3 months and probably not, maybe half done. He had us do a lot of the work and communication with the electrical and to write them checks and to pay them, even though that was covered under the contract originally for him to do. It was like a $500 and some dumpster that we paid out of pocket. That was for the demo that he should have paid. A lot of red flags. He was working 5-hour days when he said he was going to be working 8-hour days. Just very shoddy. He's a licensed framer, and we had to pay quite a bit of money to have a lot of his work redone after he walked off the job. So he incurred probably, we wrote him $30,000 or $40,000 worth of checks. So I estimate he paid, maybe 45,000 or more, I'm not sure, but I estimate he pocketed about $30,000. So he paid himself about $10,000 a month or so. Sorry, my math isn't perfect. But I just want to share one example. One of the last things, days before he walked off the job, we paid him another $10,000, and it was for materials because he needed more money. My wife and I sat down with him during the morning. This was in October 2024 by this time. So it was July to October, 3 months. Yeah. And I'd go to a medical appointment, and I believe he talked her into writing another check for $10,000. And it was for materials, and he only spent $1,300 on that drywall. And then a couple of days later, he walked off the job. I immediately asked him to return $8,700, the balance of that, just that $10,000. Just, hey, that seems logical. Can you at least do that when you're walking off the job? And he just nothing. He didn't return it. He just, pocketed it. So we have been going for over a year, or me basically as a general contractor, getting people coming in to get our house livable again. And thankfully, right before the holidays, these last holidays, it was, we were able to, the drywall was done, the painting was mostly done, and we were able to kind of move stuff in because we moved everything to our first floor from the basement. So we were kind of living in about 40% of our house for the duration. So it was pretty terrible what we had to go through with this sudden halting of this project. So just estimate that overall, he probably owes us about $20,000 to $25,000. So, this deposit is kind of a drop in the bucket for what we feel he owes us. That's it, unless there's any need for clarification.
Did you bring any copies of the checks that you issued to him so far?
We have all that, we have receipts that we've, but I don't have any of the info on you.
Okay. Questions from council on this part? All right, thank you. We may have you speak again. Mr. Satchel, please rise, give us your name, address, and
Again,
name and address.
18110 Askins Road, Community Park. I'm contractor for John. I state my plea that words he said was incorrect. I was a contractor that did it. I told him that the project would take 4 to 6 months. They twist my contract around. I did extra work for the homeowners. My job was ready to be inspected. It was inspected by Dave. It was insulated, ready for the drywall. That's why the drywall was there. We was approaching Thanksgiving. They was pressing me to get it done. And they would not have a meeting with me. I wanted to talk with them, a meeting. In the walkthrough with Dave, they told me don't come back to the house. I came down to the city hall and said, what can I do? Because the people were not talking to me. They told me to stay away from the house. They asked me for my receipts. I gave them the receipts. I showed them about $10,000 in receipts that allowed me, within the $40,000 that he gave me, I ended up with $30,000. They just wanted to cut my price all the way down. He wanted to determine how he wanted to put what a contractor was worth. He called me a carpenter and said a carpenter is worth this much a year. So he got to make the job worth $10,000. I did a basement, a office room, all of this was really, it had to be inspected, they were putting pressure on me. And this was a month before Thanksgiving, that they were saying, well, you can't do it for Thanksgiving, why don't you do it between now and Christmas? I said, you want a company over, I said, just ask your company to show up for next year, because this is a job. You know, he's got an old basement, he had somewhere to put nothing. I had to work individually sticks, and all the basement was framed. It was 5 rooms in the basement, maybe a 25 by 40 for the basement, a laundry room, office that I was framing for, a bedroom, a bathroom. Then I had to do demolition and chair and all that. I did this in 2 months by myself and had help this thing. But he knows exactly what happened in there. But I think the pressure came from his wife, and he put the pressure on me because she had to have somebody do it. But the job was done and ready for the drywall. That's why the drywall was there. Then he had somebody in his ear mentioning that maybe he should use 12 foot. If I had to do the drywall by myself, 8 foot, I can handle it by myself. That's why the drywall was there. He would not allow me to come back in the house because I did extra work, and they refused to let me do it because they knew they was ahead of the game. And now he come up with all these fictitious numbers trying to tell me what I owed him, and I might be worth $10,000. And every bit of the money he gave me was worth every bit of money that I did, plus some. And I had extra work when they was 25K in a hole in my concern. I did 10 extra work, and he kept 15K, you know, of the project. So he put all the blame on me. That's where he's sitting there twisting all the words, and he's telling that's the truth. That's all I can say. He didn't tell me. That's why I'm here for my $1,000 deposit, because I put the $1,000 on, and I thought I did a pretty good job. And if I had to swear in the inspector, he gave me the approval to hang the drywall, but they would not let me back in the house. So it was time for me to go. I had nothing else to do. You don't want me in the house? It's time to go.
Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Satchel, how much, you have checks to show how much money you made on this job?
$30,000.
It was an $87,000 job, or?
And they kept changing all the process. Now, when it came to the contract was subcontracted to plumbing and electric for the individual. They kept changing extra electric on it, so he paid them personally. He didn't pay me. And we had that understanding. We both agreed to the contract that we used, and he kept adding and adding and just like he was adding to my job. So I need to talk about it, that I can't keep doing work, and you not paying me for it. So that was discussion. Let's have a conversation, talk, and refuse to have a conversation because they know they owe me. That's the way they left me. It was nothing I did wrong, because I had my drywall on there ready to finish the job. But I gave him everything he wanted. He wanted receipts. I gave him receipts. And normally I don't do that, but I was complying with it.
Thank you. Questions from council?
Can we hear from the building inspector?
Okay, yes, they can ask you questions for you.
Sure.
Can you just give us your background on this? And
Yeah, as the gentleman was saying, I did do the roughing inspection to get it ready for drywall. And that's where I kind of laid it. I says, okay, we're gonna get the drywall put in and whatever it's gonna be. I kept the permit open. The electrical passed, the plumbing passed, the framing, the rough framing passed, and I left it at that. And that was the end of it. This is the first time I've seen the gentleman since.
would that have been that would not have been the final inspection of the project, or would it have been the final inspection?
It would have been, it was a roughing.
Okay. So how many more inspections would there have been?
It would have just been a final.
Just the final?
So what percentage of the job is done at the roughing point, roughly?
I don't know, throw a number, maybe 70%.
70.
But I'm not counting carpeting, you know,
No,
stuff like that.
That's not it. That's,
Okay,
I was just framing.
Any other questions? Ruth, anything we're missing?
No.
I have a question. You mentioned, sir, you mentioned that you had to have some of the work redone.
Yeah.
What was that work?
So he, in my opinion, does not know how to put window frames in. We had a crew of 3 carpenters come in, and they go, he just looked at these window frames, and the drywall went in front of the window frame, and they just weren't set right to put a windowsill on or to do anything with. So, they had to redo all the window frames. There was a big long run of, soffit covering, the main ductwork in the basement. And they said they had to redo all that. They had no faith that that would hold drywall and not, crack up. I had several contractors come in after he left to, see if we could get someone for months, to take over. And so I did talk to a lot of, builders, contractors, and, there was all kinds of studs that were loose in a jar, and he had used multiple types of screws. So he did, maybe to save money, he just took some, screw catch-all that he had. And so they would notice that, and the insulation was not even installed according to the directions that are on the insulation. Someone pointed that out. So we had to have the carpenters, probably work a day and a half just redoing. And I went and I bought all the lumber for the frame, the window frames. So, like I said, I kind of took over and I was getting supplies. They were Amish, so I had to go get supplies instead of paying them and their driver to go get supplies. So I'm trying to think how much. They're around $1,000 a day to hire them, so roughly about $1,500 to have that work redone
Dave,
and then finish the
I'm sorry.
work that was left.
I apologize. Did you notice any of the aforementioned changes that needed to be done?
No, the cosmetic part, no. But what he's talking about, I didn't notice it at all. I was just looking at the structural framing and stuff like that, and everything seemed to be where it was supposed to be. He may be talking about some of the stuff that don't fall under my bailiwick with his cosmetics and framing of the windows and that. Very, could be very legitimate.
So what I'm trying to balance in my head is a lot of the issues here seem to be something that's better suited for a court of law, not here. And our job here is to figure out, there was money put down for inspections, correct? And that work that was part of the inspections, it sounds like 70% of those inspections were done.
For the construction deposit, they came out of construction.
And you approved the work.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of sticky. I feel for you, I really do. But from a village perspective, he passed the inspection. He paid for it. 70% of it's done. 70% of it's done. I have a lot of your issue here. I don't think this is the proper channel for it. I think it's a court of law. So when it comes to the building permit itself, I feel like 70% of it was completed. I'm one of many, so please, others, share your thoughts.
Yeah, I think the quote on there says it will complete the work according to applicable code. So if you said at that time, so that was the October 29, 24 visit, the inspection said it was according to code.
Like
At
I
that
said, the drywall still wasn't in, the flooring wasn't in, nothing was in. It was still part of the contract, I guess. We don't get involved with that. Pardon me?
Yeah, the flooring was involved, the tile.
Okay,
Well, it was
Somewhere.
part of the agreement.
Mayor,
Yes.
remember
that's
that, again, the questions have to
That's
go
right.
through
Got it, thank you.
council.
Okay, yeah. Only people up here can deal with our employees. All right, so we were at 70% of the contract completed, passed all inspections. Do we have a motion or any further thoughts as to what to do with $1,307.18?
So David, walk us through the process again. If 100% of the inspections were done, what would then happen with the money? It would be released
yes, it would be,
within a certain amount of time, otherwise it's
within a year.
within a year. Okay.
Wait, I'm confused. If the inspections are done, then the money that was deposited with the village becomes the permit fee. No, it's refunded?
Right,
upon completion,
Okay.
satisfactory completion of the job, the construction deposit is fully refundable to the
Okay,
contractor.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, the permit fee, the inspection fees are not taken from that construction deposit at all.
Correct.
Permit fees kind of are supposed to cover Dave's inspections.
Mhm.
So when Mr. Satchel got the final inspection as he knew it, it was the final for his work because he was not allowed back in the house anymore. And Dave did that so that we would know when somebody else picked up the job, what was Mr. Satchel's work and what was the other person's work.
With
And
the,
it's only 1,087 there.
1,087.
87.
50 cents.
Dave, if another contractor came in before the first deposit was in, would they have to file permits as well?
Yes.
Did they?
To finish this job?
Yes.
Yes.
Were any other permits filed?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to try to summarize. It is $1,087.50. 70% of the work was completed and passed inspection. We've talked about possibly moving this on to a court. Does council want to make a decision, or you want to think about it? Solicitor, we do not have to make a decision tonight, is that correct?
You do not. You could
Okay.
table this and do it at another meeting.
All right. If we're going to table it, we'll need a motion. If we don't have a motion to award the money one way or the other,
I wouldn't mind tabling it.
okay.
Second.
Just to let this saturate my head and look at the paperwork again. Understand.
Councilman Bell makes a motion to table this situation.
So moved.
Councilman Berger seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So we are tabling this decision now. What do we do from here? The next council meeting or?
Probably not at the special council meeting, which is
Okay.
on Saturday,
Sorry,
unless we'd have to make sure that we include that in the meeting notice, but I would assume the next regular meeting, which is what, the
17th.
17th?
Is that, and else that rushing you? We could go easily the first weekend in March, first meeting in March,
That's fine, the 17th.
17th? Okay. We'll see everyone back here on Tuesday, February the 17th, at 7 PM. Yes.
Did the contractor and the homeowner have to present anything more to the council, or are you just gonna?
So if I need any more information.
I'd just like to clarify if there were any further permits that once Mr. Satchel stopped working,
No permits since
but the work
Mr.
continued.
Satchel stopped work. Okay, anything else? All right, thank you both for coming in. We'll see you on February the 17th, 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
For the county, and the state for that.
Oh, yeah, Dave, thank you for being here.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
Ruth, are you staying or what? You're staying for Christie, okay.
Yeah.
Christie, give me a minute to get everything up. All right, Chief, she has a PowerPoint, and she,
Don't use your mouth, once you pull it up.
usually comes, the Chief's the wizard. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, we have with us today Christie Pinkley, Geauga County Health Department, on septic operation and maintenance programs. Christie, welcome,
Thank you.
and you're making a presentation, so you don't need to stand, and you need not cut for 5 minutes like we normally do. So take your time, and I'll try to keep up with you.
Oh, no, that's great. And I'm not gonna really, stick to the PowerPoint, it's just like here in case, like, especially as we get to questions. Sometimes it is nice to have some visual aids. So, I might give you this, if you can like put that one in where you have your mouse on here. Is that for your mouse or is that what connects it to the thing?
This-
Okay, if that works, then I can reference it. Thank you. I'm happy to stand. But, basically, thank you again for having me. I think hopefully we made the rounds here earlier on when we started the septic operation and maintenance program. But I'm from Geauga Public Health. And I just wanted to reach back out and give you guys an update on the state mandated operation and maintenance program. It's going to affect the remainder of any of your residents who are on septic in the near future. So I'm gonna try and keep it short and then answer questions because that's really why I'm here. But this program is mandated by the state. It was put in place in 2015 by the Ohio Department of Health in their rule update. They're the ones that set the rules for wells, septics, pools, restaurants, all that stuff that we then do inspections for and enforcement on at the local level. And basically in 2015, their rules, a rule change said all local health departments throughout Ohio have to start issuing ongoing operation permits to anyone with a residential septic system so that we can track and make sure people are maintaining their septic system to a minimum standard so we don't pollute the environment, make people sick, or create nuisances. There are some counties that have been running this program since 2015. Actually, there were some from before then. Lake County, for example, has run this program since 2015. Here in Geauga County, we held off kind of as long as possible to see if the rule would stick. We are 10 years out now from when that was passed. So we do have to comply with the mandate. I would like to discuss a little bit for the end, because it sounds like I think you guys are about the only political subdivision in Geauga County that already had some kind of maintenance tracking in place for septic. Is that correct? So we might want to figure out how to kind of do that moving forward. In any case, we started in earnest running the program in the end of 2023. We started with the systems that we considered the highest risk, which really include you've heard of NPDES discharging systems. They're the ones that actually have an EPA permit to discharge off of their property. So those, it's almost like a mini sewage treatment plant right in your yard. It treats all the wastewater and then it puts it right into the road ditch, a stream, storm sewer. So we want to make sure that those are working properly because it's going right into the environment. Those require a sample every year that is completed by the health department, and then they also require 2 services every year under a contract for the lifetime of the system. There's some systems called spray irrigation that are very similar. Those are also they treat all the wastewater, disinfect it, and then they spray it on the lawn at 3 in the morning. So those also require annual sampling and 2 services every year. So those we entered into the program first, and I'm sure there are a few of those probably in South Russell. Those have already been entered into the program. Our next phase was entering anyone with a aeration motor, primarily is what we, anyone with mechanical components, but primarily what this applies to is aeration systems. And those need service once every year. And again, all of those that we are aware of have already been entered into the program. So the reason I'm coming here is we're finally to the remainder of all septic systems in the county, which are traditional septic systems. That's actually the vast majority of what we have in the county is traditional septics. And we're just going area by area, kind of township by township, to keep it as consistent among neighbors as possible. We've already done Munson, Chester, the north part of Russell. And so now in our April batch, we will be getting to the remainder of Russell Township, all of South Russell, and the northern part of Bainbridge Township. Anyone with these traditional septic systems, they'll be given a 5-year permit. So the ones I talked about before were on annual permits. These are 5-year permits. They cost $100. It's good for 5 years. Which brings me to one other thing I do want to mention. When the state put this mandate in place, they didn't provide any additional funding to comply with the mandate. So that is the reason why we do have to charge an operation permit fee to cover the cost of running the program. That's all it's allowed to cover. It is purely intended to cover the cost of running the program. The $100 is not covering an inspection of the system. We don't want to take the work away from our service providers and pumpers, and really that's what these systems need is a true service. I can't provide a service if I go out to a system. I can only find problems, to be honest. So most people don't want us in their backyards. We're trying to stay out of people's backyards, but comply with the mandate. And so what that fee is really going towards is the administrative cost of reviewing all the pumping and service reports that come in, responding if you see any issues with those, entering them into our database so we can query and see who is and isn't taking care of their system to follow up, and then also scanning them into a like cloud-based data system that actually everyone now, just as of the past couple months, that is actually live on our website for the public to access any of the septic records. And then some of it goes towards audits of our service providers, oversight, as well as we're starting to do some stream sampling to see the impact on the environment of running the program. And then finally, some of it just goes towards the mailing cost and the postage. So I think that's kind of an overview. But yeah, these 5-year permits, all we're asking is that people have their tank pumped, serviced, or inspected at least once every 5 years, which I think is actually less stringent than the requirements you already have in place, which was for every 3 years.
Yes, we went from 2 to 3.
Yes, so I think, unless anyone, and I'm sorry, one last thing I do want to mention, and this would be good to show you the visual. I do want to bring up the one last caveat. So traditional septics, well actually all septics, kind of fall into one of two categories. They're either an on-lot system, meaning it treats all the wastewater on your own property, and it's actually just soaking into the soil, and the soil is acting like a filter. It's really has some good bacteria in there, doing some final polishing, treatment of the wastewater, and then you sure want it to be properly treated because it's going down to the groundwater, and then your well is pulling it right back up for your drinking water. That's the ideal situation. All septics do have a lifetime. I've seen, they say 35 to 50 years is I think usually what I see. I've seen many go much longer than that. But eventually the soil will reach a point that it cannot take the wastewater anymore. And that's the whole reason we pump our tanks, is to try and elongate the lifetime of your system as much as possible. Because if you don't pump your tank, the whole point of that is to allow things to stratify into your fats, oils, greases, liquids, and then solids that can't be fully broken down by the bacteria. And you don't want that bypassing the tank and getting to your leach field where it will preliminary, I can't think of the right word I'm looking for, but like it will cause it to fail early because it will clog your leach field. So that's those systems. The main thing to do is just pump it every 5 years, but it is all contained on your lot. And when they fail, you will know it. It will come up in your own yard, and most people don't want it. So in a sense, they are a little bit of a self-limiting problem because again, most people don't want that in their own backyard. That is as opposed to off-lot systems. So I talked a little bit about those newer versions of off-lot systems where it is treating the wastewater as best it can in the tank, and there's a bunch of extra bells and whistles and disinfection before it gets released into the environment. But there are older systems out there that discharge and do not have all those bells and whistles. So they are probably, to be honest, not receiving sufficient treatment before it is still discharged into our road ditches, streams, storm sewers. Over time, we do need to address these systems. It's not based on their age, and it's not based on like nitpicking. It doesn't exactly meet current rules today. It's genuinely based on the fact that they're putting out such a high level of bacteria, more than likely, that it's going to cause a health hazard. So we don't want to try and I suspect there are a lot of these. I know there are a lot of these out there. And some of them are working fine, but we do need to do something to evaluate that over time. So we do have, for systems that we either know are discharging off lot without proper pre-treatment, or that we don't know what is there because we don't have the original drawing. Permits weren't even required consistently until about the 70s, and there are a lot of systems throughout the county that are from the 50s. In those two cases, we are saying you're still on a 5-year permit, but we're also giving you a 10 years heads up. Hey, we're gonna come out and do a dye test and possibly a sample of the system in 10 years to determine if it's putting out bacteria at such a high level it's considered a health hazard, nuisance as defined in code. So we just wanna give people a heads up on that because these systems The whole reason we want to maintain them is they cost a lot. Systems cost on average about $20,000 to replace a system. A system like this, typically, that I'm showing on the screen, cannot be repaired. Like, we will repair in every instance where we can. A system like this typically can't be repaired. And so it will be a full replacement, and we want people to have time to save for that possibility. But we will judge it based on performance, not on age, and that would be in 10 years from now. So I just wanted to give that final caveat, and then I'm also gonna just put up here, these are the kind of different permits that we have and kind of where we're active at. So are there any questions on it? And then, yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be good news for our people. Many of them have, put in top of the line and didn't want to have it inspected every 3 years. So this will be every 5 years. We have basically a list of everybody.
Yeah.
So I think what we would like to do is notify them, maybe through you, or you notify them how we're going to do this through the letters. We would also do through our newsletter, I think everyone in the village needs to know what's happening
Yes,
on this, and how this is a definite improvement of everyone's quality. So this looks like a very win-win
Yeah.
for South Russell.
Hopefully it's less work for you guys to take
Yeah.
care
Yeah,
of as well.
we've had some hassles. So I guess we would work with you and through Ruth, figuring out how we got the information to them, specifically to the septic tank owners,
Right.
and then also to the general, everyone in the village, saying,
Sure.
this is what we're doing, this is the improvements.
So, I'm gonna put out a few ideas, and if there's anything else that we can do to help with that, let me know. I know
Okay.
for some townships and villages, what we've done, or I guess townships so far, we have made like a little blurb in your newsletter. I'm happy to do something like that. These letters to your residents would be planned to go out in mid-March though. So I don't know the next time you're, in fact, we would probably send the very first communication in early March. We would send out a postcard that says, hey, you're not used to getting a letter from the health department, especially not a bill. Please keep your eyes out for a letter from the health department that will be coming related to a septic operation permit. So that's the first step, and that postcard will actually have 2 separate dates on it. There will be 2 versions that have invites to meetings on 2 different dates to go through this presentation essentially. So that's the first thing. We typically get pretty good attendance at those meetings. We send another meeting invite on the letter, which goes out in mid-March, mid to late March. And that will have another invite on the back of the envelope. And that will say, hey, we're giving you a couple weeks with the mail and then a month to pay for your operation permit. And that would be due the last day of April. We usually give a little bit of buffer beyond that, simply because we know the mail is gonna take some time, and we will honor postmarks as well. But we give a buffer because once the late fee is applied, we are not allowed to waive the late fee. So that's kind of the schedule of the communications, and then beyond that, there's late notice and stuff.
So you're way ahead of us, as far as,
So.
good.
And then I did bring you example versions. There's, some magnets, if anyone would like some Septic Smart magnets. And then we also have, I have some copies of the different versions of the letters that will go out. So this is the one, this is what it's gonna look like if you just have the on-lot system. It's just a 2-page letter. And then, oh my gosh, did it not print yet? Oh, I can email that to you, I'm sorry. I just printed this one out twice. The other version actually has a highlighted section here, and then on the second page, it actually has a flow chart that explains the 10-year requirement if you have an off-lot system. So I'm happy to leave these for you here. What else can we do to help your residents be aware this is coming?
Question.
Yeah.
So we have residents who have just paid for permits.
Well, Chris, we don't charge them. So all the septic permits go through the county, so the county probably knows everybody in our village who has a septic already,
Okay,
Well,
right?
you must report to a different agency. Because we're, like, I don't think we receive anything like
The
that
health
at
department.
the health department.
Okay, so we don't issue permits for septic tanks, I mean, for new septic tanks.
Installs,
Right,
pre-installs, then it all goes through.
yeah, that all goes.
The installs certainly,
Yes, but so don't you have a record of all the septic tank properties in the village?
Correct, yes,
Okay,
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
I'm sorry,
All we do, Chris, is send out letters every month to people who are due for their every 3-year cleaning.
Cleaning, right.
And there's no charge from us.
Okay,
for that.
so there's no cost issue
No.
here. And so this is a brand new startup and everybody's gonna have to pay at least their $100 for their 5 year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they pay for cleaning every 3 years too, so I don't know how that would overlap or.
Well-
or-
and now it's only every 5 years for them. Now, some people would still recommend it to probably pump every 3 years. It depends on your usage of the system. But we're saying we have to kind of have a minimum standard, and so
Okay, so solicitor, would we have to change our ordinance?
No, I don't think we do.
okay.
But I mean, I can definitely look into that.
How did you enforce it before, to make sure people actually did it? Did you have any ability to do that?
She's a tiger.
Send their letters and then, there's some people, most people just comply even without the letters. Our
Yeah.
software has not been capable of sending a letter in a while.
Yeah,
So, we're working on the new software, but in any case, there are some that just, eventually worst case scenario, we're gonna take them to court.
yeah. Most people, it's in your best interest. That's the
Yes.
problem, is that this has been passed because the few people who don't take care of their systems ruin it for everybody, to be honest. So thankfully, most people, I think, do get it pumped
Very much.
regularly.
Yeah.
It's the people who don't, and then are causing the problem.
Yeah.
So, and just so you know, our recourse, if people don't get it done, we'll send them warning after warning after warning, ramping it up to certified letters and such. And then eventually, we will go out and do a non-compliance inspection at their property, to determine if the system is creating a public health nuisance. So if we find, that inspection currently, again, these wouldn't be for 5 years, because you have a 5-year span from when it starts to get it pumped. It's not even looking back, it's just saying 5 years from, May 1st of 26 to April 30th of 2031, that you get your tank pumped. And your pumper should typically turn that into us on your, I think that the pumpers got used to turning it into you guys directly, or did homeowners turn it in?
No, it's usually the pumpers, but sometimes they don't, so it's
Yeah.
been done, we just don't know about it yet.
Sure.
That's actually.
So it's kind of the same, but anyway, they turn it in, and then, that's how we know that people have taken care of it. And if they don't, we go out and do that non-compliance inspection. It's set at $300 currently. It may go up in 5 years with inflation, I don't know. But, it's a $300 inspection, and again, I can't help the system. So people would be better off to just pay to have the system pumped, or at least inspected to see if it needs pumping. And then if we find a nuisance, at that point, we would take it to the prosecutor. To have them follow up on that. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I'm actually pretty curious about your 10-year window for the, you have 10 years to, if you think your system is gonna fail a dye test, you've got 10 years before we're gonna do the dye test. So maybe you should be, a little proactive in that as a homeowner. What is the dye test gonna tell you? And are you only dye testing systems that have an off-lot discharge?
Well, sorry, good question. So if before we send anyone a bill, we look at any paper, like the scan records on that property that determine what do we have on file for the system, what do we think is on the lot.
Okay, I'm more concerned about we have a lot of houses from like the 50s and 60s
Sure.
that you probably don't have any
Exactly.
kind of record for. So if you don't have a record that shows it's an on-lot system,
Right.
you're going to assume that it could be an off-lot discharge.
That is correct. to be honest, I mean, not enough people are probably savvy to ask this question yet, which I'm grateful for, because we have a little bit more figuring out to do in the next 10 years. But it's a very good question. So I need to meet with the service providers in the county, because the alternative is, if we don't have the drawing, if you know septics, a lot of times you can look at it and you're like, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we are willing to have the service provider inspect the system. We can't get out to there are 30,000 septics in the county, and a decent
Right,
number of those belong.
you're not gonna dye test every single one, and if you dye test a system that you're not sure about,
Yeah.
and it's an on-lot leach field, the dye test is gonna yield.
Nothing, which is good. That's
Okay,
inconclusive means pass.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if we can't find dye, I mean, there are systems that are like.
where are you looking? Just in the creek that flows in the backyard, the ditch that flows in the front yard or side yard?
It would be the same like we do during if someone pays us, it's no longer mandatory in Geauga County, but if we are paid to do a
Like a home
a
inspection?
home inspection evaluation as part of a sale, for example,
Okay.
we would do a dye test in that case,
Right.
unless we already know it's discharging off lot, like, yes, of course, there's gonna be dye coming, and in that case, we would do a sample.
Okay.
So if we're able to sample, we will, but I strongly suspect these systems we're putting in the 50s, they don't have sample wells, and I'm not gonna make someone pay $800 or something to put in a sample well. It's gonna probably mostly be via dye test, and yes, we will look to the best of our ability. If we do not see dye coming out, it's not causing a visible problem that I'm aware of, and we will essentially pass, you know what I mean?
Okay, I was just-
Permit. No, it's a
Because
great question.
that's kind of the $100
Yeah.
for 5 years, $20 a year.
Yeah.
Is an affordable thing for the vast majority of people that are homeowners. It's the $25,000
Yes.
that could be coming your way in 10 years when we do a dye test, that
That's
is more concerning to me.
right, and so.
As a homeowner.
Yes, definitely. And so I guess what I was saying is, if you suspect that your system is probably an on-lot system, that's what we're gonna work with our service providers to do, that they can sign off, the system is on-lot, and then that just negates the whole thing. We'll just put them on the on-lot program. So we give people a few alternatives, because I'm sure someone's gonna charge you to identify your system too. So it's still, weighing, but I think, basically we would, if they pass, I think we would then, again, 10 years is a long time from now.
I know,
But I
but
think
I'm just
it's
putting it out there that
Sure.
that's a big concern, I
It
think,
is.
for some people with older
Yes.
systems.
No, and it kind of should,
They should
that's
be.
why we're bringing it up now, so I don't wanna spring $20,000 bill on anyone in 10 years.
Okay.
So I think after that, if it passes, it would probably be every 5 years if we would do a dye test or something like that, but who knows if this will get shut down in court. Like, we don't know in 10 years, but this is our best ability to give people time. Once I find once we have a failed dye test, I cannot turn a blind eye.
Correct.
So if we can wait 10 years to do that dye test, that's the best way we can give people some time to prepare. The other thing that I will just mention is the 10 years does not supersede if you really upset your neighbor and
Well,
call
right,
the permit
if you've
and
got
they
toilet
complain.
paper in the ditch out in front of your house and it's stinking up the street,
We're not waiting 10 years.
we're not gonna wait 10 years, obviously.
So, but that's a great question. Did I answer that okay?
Yes, you did, thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one question.
Yes.
So somewhere in your literature, it said they had to be approved pumpers or service providers
Yes.
or inspectors. Is there a list somewhere so everybody knows who to use?
Yes,
or
on
who
our
to-
website.
On the
Yep.
website. Okay.
Yep, and that's again where you can access all your scanned records. It's also on the website.
Okay, thank you.
Any other
Any
questions?
any other questions? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
A lot of
Thanks for having me.
information.
Yeah,
Clearly presented also, so thank you.
fantastic.
If you just leave those,
Yes.
yeah, just put them right here, we'll get them distributed to
Fantastic.
everybody.
You guys
And I'll give you all your goodies back.
Alright,
Let's see, I better close all this out. All right.
it's all good. And then this presentation is also on our website. I do think this is gonna be a water resources department, thing, but they're right down the hall, so I can go talk to them and get back to you on this, is that okay?
Thank you very much, yes, that's a resident, wanted to know why her sewer bill went up so much.
Sure. understandable. Thank you again for having me. We want to fill this thing with communication. I think your residents are gonna be more used to it than anywhere else in the county because you've been already running the program like this, so thank you.
Sure. I do it.
No, you can just pull out.
Okay, that one comes out.
And that's all. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
You have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, for being here.
Sure thing.
Okay, we have visitors. If any of you visitors would like to speak tonight, please let us know. Hearing none, we're at the mayor's report. Visitors, I think there's some copies of the mayor's report right over there. If you want those, follow along. I'm going to cut out some things in the mayor's report in the interest of time. We'll skip the part about the aluminum cans and recycling. We'll get to that eventually. Compliments to the street guys. Even the people who called to say my mailbox disappeared have been pleasant and nice, and it's been quite a winter, so I think the guys know it, but remind them that they've done a very good job. I did attend a webinar on employee benefits and the meter investments. Little information, so you didn't miss anything. Our monthly Geauga County 250th was past Wednesday. We're looking at Dale Fellows, also known as George Washington, to be a part of the 250th celebration for the summer event. Pete's at the Pavilion with President George Washington. That'd be one of the different things we're thinking about. Chagrin River Watershed Partners, Eric, I'm sure you probably got this. They're hosting a stormwater conference on Monday the 9th. It just came out today. And it'll be dealing with modernizing stormwater basins and retrofits for stormwater controls. There may be something we've done that can be improved upon. Our janitor, Timmy Sustar, is having some health issues. He's going to be away for a while. He's been with us for years. He's done a great job. So the department heads and I met this morning. We're going to basically assume his work internally for the time being, and we'll just keep in communication with Tim as to when he can come back to the job, or do we need to look someplace else. The schedule that I've come up with as far as presentations, we did Screen Valley. We're going to do hazmat next. Chief, are you good for the 17th to do something with the Valley Enforcement Group? I'll do Screen River Watersheds on March 2nd. Danielle, you'll do meter on the 16th, is that okay? And then April the 6th, we'll have USGS. They'll come here, they're going to talk about water quantity, which we test. And they're also willing to talk about water quality. So that's something to think about if we want to expand. Okay, many of you have sat through the presentations on hazmat. This is one of the things that we are involved with every year. Our dues are $3,500. 34 communities have joined together to make a COG. Half of them are in Solon with the Chagrin COG, and half are in the Southeast COG. It was formed in 1990. The response teams provide service. Basically, we cover the whole east side of Cleveland. Southeast COG, for example, they are into trapped, dangerous people. One of our guys just went to training on, I forget the proper term.
Confined space training.
Confined space. You may remember a few years ago, somebody went from the brake pedal to the gas pedal at the Chagrin hearing and went through the front of it. And the Southeast COG came out and helped us. Chagrin COG, the last thing they've done out here was the semi-truck went off the Chillicothe Road. They go to 25 incidents a year. Almost all fire chiefs and 2 members. If you flip it over, there's 24 trainings. They've had 3 full call-outs and 24 different incidents. For example, they were at Chagrin Falls High School when they had damaged lithium-ion batteries over park. They did an $80,000 spill, an 80-gallon spill in the Pepper Pike Creek, and they had a potassium chloride peroxide industrial lab. So they are all over the place. Luckily for us, the equipment is stored, sold in Mayfield Heights, Oakwood, Orange, Garfield Heights. Mary, I'll sit down with you sometime and go through this a little bit more, but as I said, we've done this every year. It's just another one of the good groups that we have fortune to join with. Any questions on hazmat? Okay, 1 month ago, January the 5th, I made a presentation about 2 companies that we considered to talk about goals coming in on a Saturday morning or more or less. Basically, if we could have some goals, help us get better organized. I just find it kind of bad that we're going to be passing 8 or 9 pieces of legislation at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. That's unfair to council. It's unfair to our residents, and maybe, hopefully, we could get better. So those are the comments from the mayor. Questions of the mayor?
Why do you think it's bad we're meeting on a Saturday morning?
I think it's not good for the community. They expect us on Monday nights.
Why are we meeting on Saturday morning? Because we didn't have enough people
Yes.
to do one reading, so therefore we're meeting on a Saturday morning to expedite, correct?
Yes.
So that's a bad thing for the village?
No, I don't think it's bad. I think if we plan better, we could hopefully not have that happen.
So people shouldn't have work trips to have not enough members of council? Because that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, I hope you make every meeting moving on. Some of us have things we have to take care of.
Yeah, and
So Mayor, the reason we're meeting Saturday is because we didn't have enough people to pass it in one reading.
Yes.
So it's kind of a false narrative that you're creating here. Saying that insinuating the council is disorganized because they have to meet on a Saturday morning, where in fact they're organized because they knew they had to do 3 readings because of the number of members available.
No, I'm not saying the council is organized. I think some things that hit us that we could probably plan for and do better. I'm not calling anybody disorganized. I'm not
What are some
disparaging.
examples?
The amount of work that you do is terrific.
What are some examples?
I'm not going to get into that right now. You want
You
to
made a
talk later?
statement. You made a statement in a public meeting. I'd love to hear a public meeting example.
I'm not going to go back and forth on something like this.
Mr. Mayor, our job is to ask you questions. This is questions of the mayor right here. I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Okay, avoid the question.
Well, you know, I could go.
Continue. Hey, that's 3 or 3 meetings this year, I think.
And I'll,
Okay.
never mind.
Hey,
All right, any other questions of the mayor? Fiscal officer, the floor is yours.
Hi, Chris.
The one thing I just wanted to bring up, I mean, this was kind of a crazy meeting because we had to, we didn't have enough council members. So I wanted to remind everybody that the packet deadlines are Wednesday at noon. So if you have something you need in the packet, you need it by noon on Wednesday before the council meeting. That hasn't been happening, and it's caused a lot of stress in our department and a lot of organizational problems because we're trying to get things added to the agenda. And I came in for a finance meeting tonight at 5, and I still had to add stuff to the agenda. And I don't think that's fair to me and my department, and it doesn't help with the organization. I know in other communities, you have the deadline is the deadline, and if you don't make it, it gets pushed off to the next meeting. They also have somebody who approves the agenda, so I don't know if that's something we would consider, but I think something has to be done, because I don't think it's fair that I have to come in early to a finance committee meeting to add stuff to the agenda. That's all I have.
Questions of the fiscal officer? Finance committee.
Finance committee met today at 5:30 PM. A report will be forthcoming. We heard from the fiscal officer that the budget has been approved by the county. Is that correct in the way I said
The
it?
year-end cash balances were approved by the
County.
county, so now
Thank
we
you.
can start making amendments as necessary.
All right, we can start updating things from there. The next meeting will be on March, I apologize.
12.
March 12th at 3:30 PM here at the Village Hall. And that's all I have, subject to Councilman Canton's comments.
I have nothing.
Questions of the Finance Committee? Hearing none. Solicitor,
I have nothing to report.
nothing to report. Questions of the solicitor? Eric, engineer, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have a couple of things. We were successful in getting the Hemlock culvert replacement completed and the road open. And thank you, Tim, and the streets department for helping facilitate that. I appreciate your cooperation and your extra set of eyes on that and making sure everything went well. We don't have a final patch on Hemlock Road yet because the weather just wasn't conducive to pouring concrete. We've got it stoned temporarily in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we will have the weather.
Week and a half is what he's hoping.
I know. I think that's super aggressive, but we'll get it done as soon as we can safely and comfortably pour the concrete without having issue. And then there's a couple of things that CMG needs to address in the spring, like the final grading and the seeding and mulching in much the same fashion that they did when they replaced our culvert on Bell Road East a couple of years ago. I have full confidence that they'll come in and do that, and we're holding their maintenance bond until such time. So we have a guarantee that work will be completed. On a positive note, we did run into a couple of issues during the Hemlock Road construction phase, and CMG was very attentive and very willing to work with us to solve the problems, and we were able to get everything solved and still bring the project in at $1,900 under our awarded contract amount. So I guess kudos to us and kudos to them. Like we really worked together well and got it done in a timely manner and on budget. So I couldn't ask for more than that. But I hope council feels as happy as I do to have that project completed. Moving on to paving Bell Road East. You've got a packet that Danielle was kind enough to print out and give to you, but really the meat and potatoes, if you just flip it over, is on the very back, and that's the schedule. We've got stage 2 submittal, which is basically the plans that are, let's say 75 to 80% complete, like everything's drawn out and shown. Quantities are all put together. We've got a due date on the stage 2 submittal for February 6th, 2026, and we got that over to ODOT and the review consultant on Monday. So we're ahead of the game there. What I find, this schedule is very, very conservative and kind of ODOT put this together. It's a very conservative schedule and I think a very worst case scenario schedule because they've got stage 3. If you look kind of down to the middle of that block of items, they've got stage 3 submittal, which is the 95% complete plans slotted for April 17th. And those are going to be done by the end of the month. So we're going to be ahead of the game by quite a bit. Moving on and picking up time, the final tracings, the final plans, and having the bid documents ready. They've got in July 15th of 2026, and wow, that's a long time away. I can't see it taking that long. So just keep that in mind. I guess I'm looking for approval from council or acknowledgement from council that that you're okay with sticking with the ODOT schedule, bearing in mind that, in my opinion, it's a very worst case scenario schedule.
So you're looking for a motion to approve?
I need to acknowledge, ODOT asked the village, me, to acknowledge that this schedule was acceptable. And they've got the most interesting part to you and everyone else is that at the bottom, the estimated beginning construction is April 2027.
So once ODOT puts it on their schedule, we can't, if it's on their calendar year, their fiscal year, this project won't be happening until 27.
Not necessarily, but more likely than not.
So from budgeting purposes, do I put it in 26 or 27? If we have it in 26, which was in 27.
We're gonna have to, we're gonna have design costs for sure in 2026. We're gonna have all the ODOT review costs and the third-party review agency costs happen in 2026. That's a really good question. Is the construction, the big number, gonna hit us in 2026 or 2027?
We probably can't go till 2027 because they're not going to bid it out, right? They're not gonna accept the bid until 27.
The sale date's not till,
All of that's predicated though on the dates that are above it, and my target is to beat all of those dates. I think it would probably be smart to say, okay, we agree to this worst, slowest case scenario, worst case scenario, and have the project go in 2020, have the construction begin in 2027, but I'm gonna continue pushing my people I don't want them sitting around for 3 months to wait, no, you keep going. So that's a really tough, I don't know how to answer your question, Danielle, I'm
So
sorry.
the design, the ODOT and the third party review will probably happen in
2026.
And the construction, we'll have to wait to see till it gets.
Yeah, worst case scenario is 2027. Better case scenario is 2026. But I understand you have to make the tough decision of how and when to budget that money. And right now I can't give you a clearer picture on that, so I apologize.
Is the award date correct, 12/14/2027?
Based on everything above it, yes.
That doesn't.
No,
It doesn't
that
make
doesn't make
sense.
sense.
Oh, right, you're right, that can't be right.
Because I think it was 26.
That has to be 2026.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bridie, I will bring that
I make sure
up.
That's how I was getting confused.
I will bring that up to ODOT that you've got the wrong year.
I hope they do.
Well, they have to.
Okay,
No.
okay.
but even on the schedule, it's still tight to get it done before it gets cold.
Yeah, it would be weather, when you're doing fall paving, it's weather dependent,
Right.
so.
So it's probably 75, 25, it's gonna be construction in 2027,
That's safer.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve page 12?
With the exception of the award date, I think the award date
I was
is
going
incorrect.
to get to that. Page 12 of the LPA scope of services form
So moved.
with the change, thank you, Mary, the change on the award date to be 12/14/2026. Moved by Renzel, seconded by Bell. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. We've acknowledged.
Thank you, council. I will let ODOT know. And that's all I have, barring any questions from council.
Question to the engineer. Chief, questions. Fairview, how's the traffic?
We didn't have any complaints. We had to reroute the detour within the first couple of days, and I believe they did that. There was no complaints from residents.
Good.
We did pretty good.
Thank you. Any other questions of the engineer? Street Commissioner, you're up.
That's not my nothing report. Pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of snow removal. For the most part is what we did this month because it just never stopped snowing. We went through, in the month of January, we went through about 507 tons. And that was just us. The school went through an additional 33 tons that we supplied them for January. And we ordered 750 tons, which fills the rest of our salt contract. Today, as of to this afternoon, we were at 696 tons that they hauled in, so it's been replenished. So we're in good shape there. Additionally, we are eligible for a sodium reduction grant. I've gathered the prices, filled the grant out. It is due on the 6th, which is tomorrow. It's a $75,000 grant. It's a reimbursement grant on top of it. So I do have that information ready. Any thoughts?
Did you have the solicitor look it over?
I have not yet. I just was able to get all the information up to today.
It's due tomorrow, right?
Today, yeah, tomorrow.
Bye.
Yeah. And that is all I have. Unless somebody has some questions.
I don't know.
Right, I mean, it's the application though that would be submitted again, right? Not
Yes.
we haven't actually been awarded.
Correct.
Okay.
It's the application due date.
So the question would be for council to approve and authorize Tim Young to apply for the grant.
As whatever he's presented, or pardon me.
Right,
He
which-
can apply for
which-
the grant, and you can look at it after the 6th.
Well, if we get the actual grant, right, if we're awarded that, then there should be an agreement that then would come to council for
Okay,
sure.
so we don't
review
need
and
you to
approval.
spend
I don't
time.
think so, but I mean, I think it would be helpful for whoever council to see the application.
This was a short notice. I mean, it came like within 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was-
I got a copy of it.
It was
It's
very
like, boom.
quick, and then it came in very quick. So,
To lay out $75,000 and then get reimbursed. It looks like it's a good deal, because it's,
It really is. I know other communities in the past have done it and had success with it. They only offer to a select group depending on watershed effect.
so we could get a motion to allow the street commissioner to apply for this grant, and if for some reason, after we have more time, or we get the grant, we do not have to accept it, correct?
Right, but I mean, again, I think the grant
So-
agreement is really what you would want to
Okay.
make sure council approves before it actually is obviously awarded. But again, I think someone should definitely take a look at the grant application just to make sure everything, just to make sure we've got all the correct information.
So can we do a motion, could they do a motion to do the grant application as long as you've reviewed it and don't have problems with it?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Can you say that again?
So someone should make a motion to accepting the street commissioner to apply for the grant as long as the solicitor has reviewed it and doesn't have any issues with it.
Okay,
So moved.
so moved by Bell, seconded by
Second.
Berger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for the work. We've had this issue with Brian for a while. I don't know, again, why. I only got this like 3 weeks ago, but it looks like a good deal. Okay. Pardon me, anything else, street commission?
I don't have anything right now.
Have we had to borrow salt from anyone?
No,
Have we had to loan salt to anybody?
no.
Have people called you?
There's been very soft questioning about how much we've had from other communities.
Okay.
So,
All right, we are at the street committee.
Street committee, first of all, Tim, I know it was a hell of a couple of weeks there. And when I compare to other communities that drive west, everybody seemed to be in the same unique situation with just it was awkward roads, regardless, with the salt issue as well in all the communities. Interesting. I look forward to talking more about it in our next streets committee meeting. With that, after this meeting, I'd like to line up a time with public utilities, kind of more of a regular schedule where we can make sure Eric can be there at the same time, hopefully same day. Right now, I think neither of the committees have a date set for the next meeting, and I know it's kind of contingent on Eric's schedule, a little bit, Eric's ability to be here.
I will do my best to make myself available when you need me.
Yeah, I know, I don't want you to have to drive twice if it isn't necessary. So if we could do that as two committees afterwards, it'd be great. We have a few things here on the agenda tonight. One is a motion to approve change order number 1. This is for the final for the Hemlock Road culvert replacement in the amount of $1,908.57.
It's a negative $1,908.57. We're $1,900 under the
Oh,
road
nice.
contract now.
I revised that to negative $1,900, $9,008.57.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to approve the construction progress payment, application number 1, final for the Hemlock Road culvert replacement in the amount of $95,741.43.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
A scope of the Bell Road East paving project, but we already did that. So I take that back.
All right, thank you. Any questions of the street committee?
But we do have a date for the trash day, right?
It's coming.
We agreed on it. Well, yeah. It's coming up later today.
Under new other.
Okay.
Okay. Building committee.
Well, our chair is not with us tonight, and I have nothing to add, so I will yield.
Okay. Any the building committee member? Hearing none. Chief, floor is yours.
No report.
All right, chief, thank you. Questions of the police chief? We got the safety committee.
Okay, the next meeting of safety will be February 17th at 5:30 PM at the police station. And I need a point of order here. There's a number of ordinances tonight. We have to have 5 members for
To-
emergency.
No, not for emergency. Remember, we need 5 to waive readings.
Way to read.
As you can only, if it's tonight, there would be introduction of. You have to then continue that to the next meeting.
Okay,
If it's
so
on, it can be passed, but I don't think any are, but they also can be passed by emergency before.
So they're all to the second reading tonight, right?
I don't know.
Some are second, some are first.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now, let's see, what else we have here? Councilman Berger, we're going to be having a joint meeting coming up on the 10th, right?
On Tuesday, the 10th, at 3:30 PM, to interview candidates for the police force.
That day, okay, good. That's all I have.
Questions of the safety committee? HR,
HR committee will meet Monday, February 9th, bright and early at 6:30 AM.
Or 7:30.
7:30.
Oh, 7:30 for that, okay, 6:30 for the other.
okay.
Okay.
Questions of the HR committee? All right, properties committee, and I say this, we got 2 items. Properties committee.
Right, okay. Motion to approve change order number 1 for the salt storage facility design build project for engineering costs, for redesign, for additional and change items for final plans in the amount of $4,500 by CMG contract.
We need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can we ask what the $4,500 is for?
Yeah, we're on our, I think, third revision for the plan set. They had CMG incurred some engineering and design time, based on our specific site conditions.
All right,
It was related to foundation size.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Motion to approve progress payment application number 2 to CMG Contracting LLC in the amount of $38,640 for the salt storage facility design build project.
second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Questions of the property committee?
I have something to add, Andy. Earlier this week, I just got back from the building department on, I think, Tuesday. The acceptance or the approval of finally we have an approved set of plans from the building department. Nick from CMG is getting antsy about, he's been calling me and asking, have they approved it? Have they approved it? Have they approved it? On Tuesday, I let him know that they did. He's real interested in starting excavation and getting his below grade concrete pour it as soon as he has the weather opportunity to do so. So I'm happy to report that I think we'll be seeing some movement on that project very soon that will be noticeable.
Anything else? One comment. I am concerned that normally the salt structure would fall under the jurisdiction of the street commissioner and the street department. We've moved it to the properties committee. I just concerned, I think we saw a wonderful example of somebody in the PD. Chief took care of that. He oversaw it. That was his baby. Hopefully we'll have the same situation with the salt storage facility. I know you're on the property committee too, and they're all starting to mesh together, but I am concerned. I'd like to see the ownership of the project. Okay, Parks Committee.
Parks Committee has nothing to add.
Questions of the Parks Committee?
The report.
Public Utilities Committee.
Will meet, we will determine a meeting time after this meeting, but other than that, I have nothing to report.
Questions of the Public Utilities? All right, we have a lot of ordinances. I'll go fairly slow and fairly quickly at the same time so we can stay organized. We need a second reading on the rules. Who did the first one? Anybody remember?
I don't, but I'll do it. Second reading of an ordinance amending the order of business on the agenda for regular council meetings in section 220.04A of the Village of South Russell's codified ordinances and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Next one, the second reading, the police car safety.
Second reading of an ordinance approving the purchase of a 2026 Ford Police Interceptor utility hybrid vehicle from Montrose Ford for the total sum of $44,730, authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to execute necessary documents for such purchases and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Next one, also,
Right. Second reading of an ordinance approving the service agreement between the Village of South Russell and Mutual Solutions for upgrade to the internet service for the Village of South Russell Police Department, the amount of $3,552, authorizing the police chief to execute the service agreement on behalf of the village and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
all right, you're on a roll.
On a roll. Okay, second reading of an ordinance approving customer agreement between the Village of South Russell and Motorola Solutions, Inc. for in-car mobile videos. Necessary software to operate such an in-car mobile videos for the Village of South Russell Police Department in the amount of $52,514.55, authorizing the police chief to execute the customer agreement on behalf of the village and declaring an emergency. Second reading.
All right, next, this is finance.
Second reading of an ordinance authorizing the fiscal officer to apply for and accept NOPEC grant funds for the 2026 Community Event Sponsorship Program on behalf of the Village of South Russell, declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Next one deals with finance.
Second reading of an ordinance approving the master authorization for Treasury Management Services Agreement between the Village of South Russell and Huntington National Bank for check deposit capture services for the Village of South Russell, authorizing the fiscal officer to execute the agreement on behalf of the village, declaring an emergency. Second reading.
Next one's finance also.
Introduce an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2026 Energize Community Grant.
Next one
Is that a first reading?
Correct.
First reading.
First.
And are we declaring an emergency on that?
We don't. Okay.
Declaring an emergency, first reading.
Next one, streets.
Introduce an ordinance approving attachment A to the master services agreement for professional services to allow Verdantis to prepare the plans on behalf of the village for ODOT approval to resurface Bell Road from Chillicothe Road to the Village East Corporation line in the amount not to exceed $143,000, authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to execute the attachment on behalf of the village, declaring an emergency. First reading.
Next one,
Introduce an ordinance authorizing the 2026 property and casualty insurance with the Public Entities Pool of Ohio declaring an emergency, first reading.
next one I would say is safety.
Introduce an ordinance adopting a new moratorium on the reviewing, issuing, and processing of any permits relating to retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of adult use cannabis within the village of South Russell for a period of 12 months and declaring an emergency, first reading.
I'm gonna hold for a second. Solicitor, am I correct? Next year, we have to do something, we just can't kick the can down the road.
I think that what I was trying to say is that we have said in the past in our moratoriums that we need more time to review and come up with whether or not we're gonna regulate, and we haven't done that. And that's what I was trying to say, is that if we're going to do a moratorium, we should really have a concerted effort to either decide what we're going to do with these adult use cannabis operators, if anything.
For those of you out there, it's a moratorium for another year. All right, next one is finance.
Motion to ratify the payment register of 13026 to 13126.
Whoa.
Oh,
That
did I
is-
skip something?
We
Yeah.
got the revised
Ordinance
agenda.
on the bottom.
I'm sorry, missed that, sorry. Introduce an ordinance transferring up to $1,440,000 even to the safety fund, up to $375,000 even to the operating fund, up to $39,000 even to the street maintenance fund, up to $170,000 even to the special land and building fund, up to $460,000 even to the general fund, up to $21,000 even to the Parks and Recreation Fund, up to $100,000 even to the Large Equipment Fund, and up to $360,000 even to the Bell Road East Fund, declaring an emergency, first reading. We got the next one.
Okay.
Introduce an ordinance amending the 2026 annual appropriations, increasing income tax transfers $235,000 even, street maintenance expense $50,000 even, special road fund expense $135,000 even, and special land and building expense $5,000 even, declaring an emergency, first reading. Introduce an ordinance transferring up to $50,000 even to the street maintenance fund, $50,000 even to the lands, to the special land and building fund, and $135,000 even to the special road fund, declaring an emergency, first reading.
That was all of them.
Yeah, and now we're at the bills list.
All right, we're at payment registration, motion.
Motion to ratify the payment register of January 30th, 2026 to January 31st, 2026 in the amount of $72,103.23.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Do others, Safe Bicycle and Pedestrian Transport Committee.
Okay, the committee will meet after the special council meeting on Saturday at 8:30 a.m., February the 7th here in Village Hall. And we will lock the door on the way out.
Administration and Technology Committee.
We'll meet Monday, February 9th. This is the early one, right?
Yep.
At 6:30 a.m.
All right, I have a question. We have a motion. Why don't you go ahead and do the motion?
Motion to approve Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Trash Day, with April 29th and April 30th for Senior Trash Days. So moved.
Moved and seconded.
There hasn't been a second.
I said,
Moved and seconded, discussion. My question is, how is this removed from the streets where it's been for many years and put into administration and technology? Do we have an answer?
I simply took it as one of the issues on the list and said, where can we write the policy statement that we said we were going to write as to what Trash Day was going to be and what the rules are for how we handle Trash Day. And so administration took it, but if Streets wants it, I'm happy to cede that back to streets.
Okay, but we can handle that later. All those in favor say aye. Motion passes. What's, planning will be building,
Letter of support for Geauga County Planning Commission grant application from the Ohio Department of Agriculture to update the 2008 Geauga County Farmland Preservation Plan.
Before you go further, just, did anybody read this? This was in your council pack, okay, just making sure everybody read it and you agree with it before we write the line. Okay, I mean,
Okay,
if there's discussion.
so there's a motion.
I didn't hear a motion, I just heard.
George, if you make a motion.
I'll make it, shall I read it again?
No, you just
Okay,
said,
I made the motion.
there you go.
All right, we need a second
Second.
discussion.
Okay, so now the question is, how does this really apply to South Russell? I mean, I'm not aware of farmland inside the village, maybe there is, and I just don't know it.
There's equine property, which could be considered
Okay,
Cruises farm.
Yeah, it's true.
Cruise Farm.
okay,
I'm just,
all right, I just didn't, it's all about updating the farmland specs and what's going on with farmers, and I just didn't know that it applied to us, but it does, and so we should support it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Mary, how about, we'll give you one to do, and I hate to give you this one.
Yeah, nice one, Nate. Sure. Yeah, motion to acknowledge the resignation of Councilmember Misha Alexander effective February 1, 2026.
It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
Discussion.
I'm sorry that she has to resign, but I understand why.
Good person. We're losing a good person. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Mary, do you want to do the next one?
Sure, motion to approve advertising to fill the vacant council seat with an application deadline of February 10, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. You want to keep going, Mary?
Sure, motion to schedule a special council for, it's this Saturday.
Well, this is for,
Is this
if
the one?
you guys, wanna do. Are you
Oh, an
gonna set
executive
up
session.
An executive session for interviews, I don't know if you wanna choose a date for that now. Or do you want it?
Want to go on the 17th?
So
and
the
say-
applications have to come in on the 10th, and then,
You want to do it like on the Tuesday, February 17th at 6 o'clock?
Well,
There's a council meeting at 7.
on the 17th.
well, it was my understanding there was gonna be a special council meeting on the 17th at 6:30, but there was gonna be a special council meeting prior to that, to go into executive session to do the interviews. You would have to do it, I'm assuming there would be, the majority of council to do the interviews, and if so, then you have to have a special council meeting to go into executive session to do those interviews.
All right, let's pull out our calendars here. Wednesday. Want to do it on the 19th, or is that too
No,
much?
let's do it after, the applications are the 10th. Can we do it that week some point?
12?
14.
Yeah, 12 or 14 would be great. Nothing says love like applications on the 14th.
Want to do it? Okay, February the 14th, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock?
Sure.
Okay, all right, Mary, February the 14th, 8 o'clock,
8 AM.
8 AM.
All right, motion
No.
to, do you want me to start over?
Yes.
All right, motion to schedule a special council meeting for February 14th, 8 AM for the purpose of entering into executive session to consider the appointment of a public official pursuant to section 121.22 G1, sorry, of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll be there on February the 14th, 8 o'clock. Mary, you're rolling. You want to keep going?
All right, motion to schedule a special council meeting for Tuesday, February 17, 2026 at 6:30 PM to consider the appointment of a public official pursuant to ORC Section .22G1.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. So when's the last one?
I'll do it, it's me. A motion to approve the absence of council member from 4/20/2026 regular council meeting.
That's to, excuse you.
Excuse me, from that meeting.
Is she allowed to make that motion for herself?
Sure.
Okay.
Been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute.
Whoops.
Chris, were you gonna do something about, giving everybody's feedback on having the solicitor prepare the legislation for the millage, or not?
Okay, so
New other?
this was, okay, so under new other, so at finance, we discussed the need or the desire to put the trail path on the ballot for the residents of the village to vote on as a levy. So in order to do that and start to prepare that, we would want to do legislation asking the county for the millages and what would be the necessary funding to make that project happen. So we would need to make a request of the solicitor to prepare legislation asking the county to give us the millage amounts and what that would entail. Have I said that right?
Yeah, and we also wanna do that for, the road and bridge levy is up next year.
Yes.
So we would go a year early for that, but that follows the same process. We'd have to get the millages
Okay.
certified.
So, okay, so we would ask for that for the 17th of February for those two potential levies. And we would do 3 readings and then send that to the county to get the numbers, correct?
Can I ask, are we doing a certain, the road and bridge, is that a renewal levy?
That's
Yes.
really.
And are we looking, okay, and then with respect to the trail, are we trying to get up to a certain amount, like revenue, or are we gonna give different?
Okay, so the most recent numbers we have from Verdantis tells us that if we had, the most expensive option is approximately 1.8 million, of which 800,000 is part of the grant from the WACA. So we would be looking for $1 million in the levy over 5 years to pay the $1 million balance.
Got it.
Okay? Thank you.
And then we have our regular new other. So Berger, do you have new other?
No.
Canton,
Happy Groundhouse Day.
Wenzel?
The only thing that we're gonna talk about in the bike committee and trail committee is that I found some grants. There's a rec trail program and a Clean Ohio Trail program. The rec trail program is 1.6 million, it's a federal grant. And the other one is an Ohio grant for 6.25 million for trails.
Does that come from
So-
ODNR?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so, and the deadline's March 13th, so we have a little time.
And Jenny Brown probably knows about these. Okay. They have a person in charge of grants at Verdantis.
Yes.
Val, new other?
Yeah, it's kind of a point of thought moving forward. We introduced an ordinance tonight for the moratorium once again. And as everyone remembers, November 2023, the state of Ohio passed legalizing recreational marijuana. I myself voted against it, my wife voted for it. We had a split house. That being said, the voters spoke, right? In South Russell, 58.82% of the voters voted yes. So in the State House, they love ignoring the will of the voters and just kind of changing the law after the fact. To me, the voters said this is what they want, and if they want to change it, they should go back to another constitutional amendment. I think by prohibiting it on any matter at a local level, we are going against the will of the voters, and that's why I some food for thought for everybody to think about.
That's everybody for you others.
Anyone else? Motion to adjourn at 8:40.
So moved.
Moved by Berger, seconded by
Second.
Renzo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:40.